Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, Speed Gaming fans across the globe. I'm WX Fan 21. Welcome to the second ever Super Metroid Map Randomizer Tournament. And we are here. I am joined by the one, the only, quite frankly, the man who needs absolutely no introduction, but I'm going to give him one anyway. It's Derp. Let's go. What's happening, Derp? How are you?
Not much, doing pretty good. Excited to calm another race. We've got Karterfreak and Adriano, both seated very close to each other. I believe Adriano's 29 seed and Carter's 34.
I am going to be pulling... Yeah, that is stuff I am pulling up here. I want to make sure we give all of you the best coverage here as possible. And throughout this game, Derp and I are going to go into some of the things in our rules document. We're going to go over some of the things that you all are going to be expecting to be seeing this season in terms of game modes, in terms of how we have the 3 brackets set up. We're going to have 3 winners, gold, silver, and bronze tournaments. We'll talk to you all about that throughout this race. This mode, very unique, Derp. This is Metroids with no Mother Brain 2. And that means the objectives, instead of bosses, the objectives here are going to be all 4 Metroid rooms, which means we either need power bombs at minimum 5, we need ice beam, we need screw attack if we find a room to get through it for progression. So many different things can happen here in this particular mode.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to talk about the seed that we're actually seeing already. It's pretty interesting. We spawned right next to a map room, so they already have info on the starting area. They found this early major on the map, had to actually go down and get the first X, which was a super, to get access to it because there was a missile door. So both runners handling the early game correctly, going to the super first, not coming up here and getting owned by the missile door. But we're still looking for Morph. I do not... Actually, I think that major in the top right is accessible with speed if the room before it is a runway, because you can spark up the Precious room. That's what that room is. So I imagine that's where our runners are headed. Although it looks like Adriano might be headed to Criteria. But yeah, Metroid's No MB2 is a really interesting category to me. It can be very quickly because the requirements to beat the game are so lax.
Yep.
Actually, you can't make it to that major, it looks like, because there's too many heated rooms in the way, unfortunately.
We have so many different modes. Let me go over some of them here with you. Derp and I both handling tracking duties.
Let me go this way, never mind.
So, here are the official modes, so to speak. Just so you all are on the same idea and you can follow along with us. No objectives. No objectives means Mother Brain's 4 objective barriers are gone. And it's basically whatever you need to kill Mother Brain 1 and 2, survive her rainbow beam, only 1, and deal with the Zebatites. That's it. It's the fastest mode we're going to have. But it can also be one of the longest, because you don't know how items are scattered, you don't know where Mother Brain is, all that kind of stuff. This one, as we've already talked about, Metroid objectives, no Mother Brain 2. The barriers by Mother Brain are all 4 Metroid rooms. There's no Mother Brain 2. So all you need to do is defeat the Metroids, get enough to get through the Zebatites, get to Mother Brain 1, finish off Mother Brain 1, boom, timer is started, go escape, Planet Zeb is blowing up. Which apparently is Samus's favorite pastime. I'm only kidding. Double Suit! This is a really cool mode, because it's going to start you off with Varia and Gravity, so you can pretty much go anywhere in heated rooms, you can go anywhere in water rooms. The logic in this one can be kind of crazy, but it's definitely a fun one. Then we've got another suit combo, Gravity 9+1. So this is players starting a Gravity suit, 9 energy tanks, and a reserve tank. Really cool mode, expect to see a lot of heated runs with that mode. Then we have our movement mode, Varia plus high jump, spring, ice, and grapple. This will help you get through water rooms. Expect to see a lot of gravity-less logic. Those are our 5 modes for this tournament. If you've paid attention to the last tournament that we ran, the Super Metroid Multi-Cat tournament, this is taking off a little bit of the same idea what MM2 and crew did. The Multi-Cat tournament. not only was that a massive success, but it was the same idea. You had 7 categories of vanilla Super Metroid. There was a pick ban system. We have the same pick ban system here. One seed gets one pick, the other gets another, and we're going to go through the same bands. But with 5 modes, we're going to get 1 pick each and then have a decider. So whatever's left over is what we're going to get. It's not going to be randomized. So you have the advantage going in of, I don't got to practice 7 modes this time. I only got to practice 5. Realistically, you only got to practice 4. If you know you don't want to deal with no objectives, boom, ban it. You never have to deal with it because you do get one of those picks. So with that being said, Derp, anything I'm missing here? Because I'm reading chat and apparently these racers are taking a nice scenic route here. We got Ice Beam for Carter.
Yeah, I believe they both have Ice Beam. They were both had a little bit of trouble getting up the Precious Room. Adriano actually went for a gravity jump with full run speed, while Carter went for a spark, but was placing it a little bit too far to the left and bonked on the block a couple times. Nice little wiggle out there. Save a super for Adriano. But yeah, the Ice Beam doesn't really open up anything in this area, so I'm gonna have to head to Criteria and see what's going on there. It's the ship. Nice find.
Hello, ship. So that's also could be really interesting based on the escape out of this. If we have to get through the wrecked ship. Map also very close to the ship.
Yeah, I don't know if we mentioned how the pick and ban went for this race. We did see Carter ban no objectives, which I think is going to be a really popular ban in this tournament because it's a very swingy mode. Because you can just hit a Mother Brain going one way and the other person goes the other way and just loses because Mother Brain is so accessible. So,
see, that's to me is what's the fun of it, right? Like, if I'm a racer and I'm a low seed, and let's say, for example, Derp, you and I are racing, right? Like, I know my skills are not anywhere near on par of movement or a skill set like you. I'm probably taking away no objectives because you have that opportunity to outbeat me just on movement and tech. So I might take that away as a strategy-wise. So
yeah, I mean, that's why it's such a popular ban, because if you are the favorite in a race, then that's generally what you want to be banning, is you want to eliminate the most possible upset, if that makes sense. And that is, there's our morph, by the way, which Carter did not go get.
Yeah.
But
there you go.
But yeah, that's the logic why a lot of people are planning on banning this mode, because it's very swingy. It's very easy for an upset to occur. So if you feel like you're the favorite in the race, then getting rid of that upset potential is something you want to be doing. We also did see, this is actually our second Metroid room. We saw our first heading down to the right of the ship, and now our second here connected to Big Pink. Unfortunately, Carter does not have the morph. Cannot get out that way. Yeah, he's gonna have to reset. They're gonna have to reset this, but
yep. So he's gonna have to go back out. Good
news is the save isn't too far back.
Yeah. Oh, he's able to escape.
They can just get out. I'm silly. I was for some reason thinking it was the.
You and I were thinking the same thing. It's okay. The powerbomb door on the drop. Yep. No worries.
Whoops.
So 2 Metroid rooms early. So again, this is about knowing your opponent, right? You've been in this scene for so long for different racers. And by the way, I'm marking off the G4 as KPDR, just so you all are aware for the fine folks here on your
enough. We don't actually have a tracker layout for the Metroid, so that'll have to do.
That would have cost way more than we had in the budget to do custom graphics.
I'm saying. Yeah, Carter's really going to have to go back and get that morph soon, because not a lot that they can do without morph right now. Yep,
that is very, very true. So again, karterfreak on your left, they need to get their morph ball, which again, we saw Adriano, he went all the way over, just did his normal shine spark. So if you're unfamiliar with how to do that in Aqueduct, basically, if you can get to a dry room that doesn't have water and you can start building up for a shine spark, You can do it through water. It'll take a little bit longer, but you can eventually get to the point where you can store a shine spark and then just go straight through the speed blocks, which is what Carter, that's what they are going to need to do. And here we go. They're about to do it.
Yeah, this looks good. I mentioned earlier how the ice beam that they got early doesn't actually open anything, but the important thing that it does do that you may have noticed is that it lets them clear these Metroid rooms that they're finding early, so...
Yes.
That is very important, and it's also worth noting that technically Adriano, and now Carter with that morph, they're both Go mode, with Ice Beam, with enough ammo to kill Mother Brain 1. This is technically enough to beat the game. Obviously, we don't know if there's going to be any other potential obstacles they have to overcome, like if they need more energy for heated rooms and whatnot, but this is enough to kill the Metroids. This is enough to beat Mother Brain 1.
Yep, this is why I think this is one of the more interesting modes that we have here in this tournament. Because we've already found, I mean, look how close those two Metroid rooms are. But we have no way of getting to the map. We don't know what else is here. If Mother Brain's here, this might be one of the fastest seeds of all time.
Yeah, do you need the two horizontal Metroid rooms, though?
Yep.
So, unlikely that those are going to both be here alongside Mother Brain. If all 5 were in one area, then that would be a little bit silly. But, like you said, if it does happen, then we will see a very quick finish. I don't think you actually have to do what Adriano and Carter were doing entering this room, by the way. They're trying to like turn around through the door to build up speed a little bit quicker, or rather start running slower in the water room so they have more time to build up the spark. But you don't actually have to do that in this room. As long as you just hold run through the door, you will get echoes by the time you reach the right side of the room.
Yep.
So even in a room like the room that's connected on the left, which is the pancake room, you just by sitting in the door frame, you still have enough speed. And I don't know if they know that, because it looks like Adriano is gonna snail climb out, actually. I'm now realizing the issue here. But yeah, Carter actually needs to farm for health. Got hit by a couple enemies. Yeah, Adriano is getting the snail climb. It is in logic to get out with the items. That second snail was mean. Unfortunately, that means Adriano's gonna have to come back and do all those again. So yeah, a little bit of trolling going on in this one. But we definitely want to go back down, get our 2 Metroid rooms locked in, and the 2 majors, the morph and the space jump was the other one that they got. There we go, Carter got that short charge. It's able to get out now. This jump is a little bit tricky, but if you were positioned right at the edge, you can jump through the door like that. So Carter, not taking the death, is going to be at a pretty nice lead, since Adriano's going to have to go back and do all that again. Hold on. There we go. Looks like both runners are going to go to the top left of ship here and find another not nice room. Both ending up here at the Cack Alley. I know what rooms are called, I swear. And can't actually get back out, so hopefully Carter saved everything. Looks like they did. Looks like this is the progression here. That space jump unlocks getting across the Coliseum. So that's where Carter is going right now. And we end up in a much nicer room. Couple of items here to grab. And a save, look at that. So yeah, the main thing they're looking for now, item-wise, is just a bomb item. Because at the moment, the only way we have to clear bomb blocks is the speed booster. There's power bombs right here, so that's going to be real nice for Carter. Now there are some options here. If Carter wants to jump down, get this third item in the room, but potentially risks not being able to get back up, depending on what the logic to get back up is. Looks like they're actually going to take the safer route, going through the cubby here. And
Sorry about that. I'm back.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Adriano.
This is
Why
a
are these
really
buttons
hard.
not working? There we go. I was gonna say, I'm like, both have 2 Metroid rooms down. Stay unchecked.
That's a really tricky thing that Adriano just did there, by the way.
I was gonna say that was a very tight speedball.
Yeah, and unfortunately, not looking like he's going to be rewarded.
No. Oh, does Adriano have to go through and beat the Metroids again? Because I see some unchecked X's.
I think so, unfortunately.
That is fine. So, for those just tuning in, I'm WXFan21, joined by Derp on commentary. This is Metroids mode. Gonna defeat all 4 Metroid rooms, and then Mother Brain 1 only.
So,
Beautiful
Carter...
use of space jump there through Coliseum.
Yeah, that was the logic. You get the space jump, and then that gets you across Coliseum.
Yep.
And that gets you your power bombs, and now a lot of more things are open for Carter.
Yeah, they are having a really good time here. Adriano, he's struggling at the moment.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're struggling a little bit to get out of Aqueduct. Adriano, as you saw, went for the snail clip, got trolled by the other snail, and got taken out. But yeah, Carter did not go to the bottom of the West Ocean. They found the Meridia map crab room. I don't know exactly what that's called, but you can technically get back up that room. But Carter, maybe not super comfortable with that trick, decided to... It is out of logic. But
Oh, already a crab hole?
yeah.
Yeah,
Decided not to go to the bottom.
Yeah, neither racer has the items right now to do that.
Yeah, it is technically possible with just morph, but it depends on the rooms adjacent, and it is not in hard logic.
No, it's not. So we get, oh my goodness, major into major here. Look, there is still a ridiculous amount of majors here in Criteria. Only the 2 Metroid rooms. And now you see the gears starting to turn in Carter's head. Where am I going from here?
Yeah, it looks like Carter's going to go for these 2 majors down here.
Adriano's practicing their Metroid rooms. Nice plasma!
Well, they had Spazer already, so it's a little awkward. And what's actually more awkward is they don't have the health to spark back up out of...
Nope.
And so they're actually just going to full reset. The Wave Plasma, it seems silly to reset them, but remember that we aren't actually fighting any bosses, or we don't have to at least, depending on the map. They can be put in your way. So
they're just
the
really
Wave
nice
Spacers,
items to have.
They're nice items to have, but they technically don't do a lot for us unless, you know, a Ridley gets put in our path.
Yep.
In that case, we may have bigger problems.
Yep. So, here's how this is working today, folks. A little bit of a PSA. We have Carter and Adriano. They're going to go back to back. So this is race 1. Race 2 is right after this. Derp's got you on commentary for that. And then, if needed, game number 3 with both of these two is going to be tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern. Again, if game 3 is going to be needed.
So, went to Brinstar, trying to find the progression. Unfortunately, does not look like Brinstar is the answer, as we run into a sand pit. Looks like Carter is going to try to spark across. This could be in logic, actually, if the room on the other side were able to spark back, but unfortunately, did not get in. Gonna have to reset. So Carter gonna have to head back there.
Adriano is continuing to get in some Metroid room practice.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much the practice with Ice Beam is that useful. The rooms are actually kind of tricky to do with 5 power bombs, especially the longer rooms where all the Metroids are so spread out. So it is actually worth practicing those if this mode is something you want to potentially play in the tournament. But yeah, right now Adriano just really trying to get out of this aqueduct, having a lot of trouble with it right now. Because that space jump and getting out of aqueduct is required to progress through the seed. Short charge is a bit tricky for Carter. I don't know exactly how far back the sprite can back into the doorway. So I'm not sure how much room there is. I'm also not totally sure if a short charge this tight is in hard logic. The hard logic for short charges is actually pretty far. I think you need like several.
This is going to be tight.
I think this is going to bonk a platform, actually. Oh, no, we're good.
Nicely done, Carter.
Don't know if we can get back, though. So this may be a one-way trip.
But oh, the map's right there.
We should be able to get to the map at least.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, if you could just get to the map, that's a victory in and of itself. Adriano, he's trying to get through here. He is doing everything he can to keep on going. Oh, boy. Okay, well, it's time for a farm.
Really?
This is terrible. Carter can't get to the map right now. He needs a farm room. He needs something to get the energy.
Yeah, it looks like Carter's gonna head to the left here, see if there's anything more appealing going on. And unfortunately, the answer seems to be no.
Oh, mean seed! Mean seed!
Yeah, so it looks like we're gonna have to go for some of these further away majors. There's actually a Ridley there. You can see it's not marked by X's like you might be used to, but that heated 1x2 room with the 2 locked doors, that is in the way a little bit.
That's Ridley. Oh, and it's right outside single chamber. Dang.
Actually, I guess you can just avoid it, but there's a bunch of heated rooms around the Ridley that are a little bit less avoidable if you're trying to get that major on the far left.
It's true.
Yeah, this is really awkward. There's a Crocomire fight. There's a... Well, actually, yeah. I think you can go down to Croc, fight that. You've got enough ammo for it to be in logic, I believe. That leads to Mini Crade, and then... No, that's when you... Unfortunately, you don't actually have a way to get through the next room, which is the Precoliseum, yeah.
Alright, so let me just go over your matchups, folks, while we watch what's happening here on screen. This one is a matchup between 29-seeded Adriano and 36-seed karterfreak. Then we've also got Albies versus Chozo Bozo, Jay Misha versus Craze Gamer, Lopdeer versus Mrock, Fat Scott versus Kiara, Log Grab or Log D-Rab versus Rocky Lizard, Sunwoo versus Yuzu, Anthony versus Dataplet, Tickles versus New Fire Garage, Gameaholic versus Cruel Beans, RJ the Destroyer versus Koltor, Edible Toaster versus Barry, NZT versus Tony T. Young, Techno Waffle versus Unforeseen Menace and his Beardness versus Idol.
Be careful.
Yep, the top seeds. Number 1 seed in this tournament is Eddie. We've also got Links Unlimited, Nido, Oats and Goats, Paf, Zeb, Andy, Aussie, Emmett, Spiffy, co-commentator over here, Derp, Nitro, Super Sponge, Nevd and Mo, And then it's Lunix and Telomorph as well. We have a ridiculous amount of players. I'm looking forward to it. 48 players total, Derp. This is exciting.
I think they're 47, unfortunately, but
no, my bad. You're right. 47. I was looking for the elusive 48, and like, wait a minute, we have a bracket with an odd number. That makes no sense. But nevertheless, 47 people. Really cool.
I don't know what Carter is seeing coming back down here. I don't believe you can get any further. I don't know if the wave plasma opens anything up either. Is that weird logic? I might be missing something. I haven't gotten a great look at the map, just because I'm going off of, you know, when the runners look at the map.
Same. This is not where you want to be! So Carter is just doing anything he can right now to try and escape. So we'll give him wave plasma for the time being.
Actually, does this get back to West Ocean? Because if it does, then there's a few items that
There is a long way to West Ocean from here, but this is also towards Ridley, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, it's also towards a major, though. Yeah, because this goes to single chamber. And then we can... That's how we get back. That makes more sense.
And
so this item is logic.
So Carter's going to need to farm here.
Yeah,
okay.
I maybe would have liked farming to full, but... Okay,
yeah, there you go. Okay.
They're going back.
I was going to say, you see, like, yeah, okay, I'll farm. Commentator's right.
I've always said the runner should be listening to us more.
Right? It's not like they're already like a minute ahead of us or anything due to delay, but you know. So single chamber, if you are unfamiliar with how this works, this is a very tough room to do suitless in terms of the heat damage you take. And then on top of that, Derp, you just take a look at all the other heated rooms around it and all that for a grapple beam.
What does grapple open for us? Oh, okay, I see. It opens up. You can go down to Mount Everest now through the bottom left of Big Pink, and then there is another major.
That's a fishing hole major.
Looking likely that's going to be a big item. So.
Yep.
Like probably a gravity or a high jump or a spring ball that opens up the last two items in criteria, because there still is not anything for us to do outside of that. Like there's not even really that many tanks in Logic, so even these heated rooms aren't very accessible.
Yep.
Speaking of heating room, we've got Adriano heading over here. I don't remember what was over here, but we saw it on Carter's map, and I don't think it was anything particularly significant. I think this might be a missile. I'm not gonna lie. It's definitely not a major. I guess Adriano's gonna find out the hard way. A missile it was.
See. Folks, if you're having a good time watching this race, make sure you give the race a follow. Exclamation point R on the Twitch chat. Exclamation point C if you want to follow the commentary team.
I don't know if Carter wanted to fall down here, but gonna fill up to full once again to spark out of screw attack room and then get back to the ship.
Really not a bad idea.
Or I guess in this case you're just going back to Big Pink because it's right connected to the screw attack room, then you can go back down for that major. Unfortunately, I think Carter ended up with less health than he started. I guess you don't need to spark out, you've got the power bombs, but this is a pretty tight play. Yeah, Carter gonna back out of it. I think this is what you have to do to get out. Like, I don't see what else you would do in Logic. Maybe there was another tank you can grab that I missed. But Carter is following the logic, and it is a pretty tricky one. I feel like both of the seeds that we've seen restreamed so far have had a little bit of trolling going on. I won't lie. So Adriano has made his way to the criteria map. Sees all those majors and see what he goes for. It'd be a really good time to know the the ice clip out of the bottom of that room, you can actually bring one of the B-toms over and clip through the crumble blocks, but it's pretty tricky, especially without X-ray. With X-ray, it's a lot easier because it's not as precise of a position, I believe. But without it, it's frame perfect, and the frame is not really in an intuitive spot. Yeah, Carter was able to get the short charge, was able to shine Spark up. I assume we are headed down to Mount Everest. Adriano, meanwhile, has gotten that wave and plasma beam.
Appreciate it, Derp. Thank you. So we're all tied in terms of items.
Yeah, except for the grapple. That is the big advantage that Carter has right now. And it looks like the advantage that will get him more items. If he wants to, he can actually go all the way to the left of Mount Everest and get a couple tanks. There's a nice double item there at the watering hole.
Now, just to give everyone a bit of a heads up, what we're seeing right now from Carter is go mode. 20 and 10 is over the 17 projectiles that you need to break Mother Brain's tank.
18.
Is it 18? I thought it was 17.
Yeah, it's 18.
18. Well, regardless, they've got the 20 missiles.
They have more than that, is the important part.
Right. It was the important thing of that extra missile pack saves those all-important supers, because we know in Map Rando, supers do double damage to Mother Brain.
Right. But we will not have to fight a Mother Brain 2 in this category.
Nope.
So that is why we're in go mode, because we just need the ammo for Mother Brain 1. We've got the
right.
Z-skip item as well. We have speed and ice, actually.
Is this even randomized?
I think so.
I mean, Mount Everest into Redfish.
I'm not really sure why Adriano came up to this third room instead of the room with the...
Because he wanted to!
He wanted to, but paid the price. So I believe he reset the wave plasma once again.
Yep. Oh, this isn't fishing hole. This is hopper room and red brain. Okay.
Yeah, watering hole is all the way to the left of Everest. It had a tank.
Right. It was 2. There's your spring ball.
Yeah, so spring ball. Now with that, you can get through the Ohm hallway in Happy Room. So that gets you 2 more majors.
Yep.
Because you already have the way to get up with the grapple.
This is a pretty interesting logic seed.
It's
There's nothing the racers can really do to break logic here early.
Yeah, it's an interesting seed. It's very linear, and there's some differing opinions on this. I know a lot of people like seeds like this, where it's kind of like you're doing steps in a puzzle. You have to, go through every step and then get the progression that opens up the rest of the map. But for the whole time, you're confined into one area for the most part. Obviously, we started in Wreck Ship, but there's nothing we can actually do there at the moment. So it's more linear, and it is a lot about just figuring out everything. We actually do see Carter going over to see this E-tank, which I am not surprised. It could be a double, because there are 2 items. Hopefully it's 2 tanks. That would be the best scenario for Carter.
Yep. So this is the Forgotten Highway.
Yeah, Adriano did not manage to keep that grapple beam, by the way. I think he died on the way out. Right, only 1 E-tank.
Energy.
Second power bomb pack is really good, though.
Yep.
Technically, getting out of this is not in logic. You have to do a pretty tricky jump to get right at the end of the wall and then spam wall jump to climb up. It's not too difficult, but it is worth noting that it's not in hard logic. It is actually a very hard trick.
I mean, spring ball.
I don't know if spring ball gets you out, actually. I don't think it does. Not without high jump, and with high jump, then the wall jump to get out is pretty free.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Adriano's up to. He does not have spring ball.
No, he can't get up this.
No, you can't.
Carter, they're going to go back through the Forgotten Highway. I think what they are doing is making their way to get as many majors as possible. That seems to be the play right now.
Yeah, we really need a gravity. Basically, everywhere we can go, both Brinstar and the Cack Alley that we just saw Adriano in, both require gravity, so that seems to be the missing piece of the puzzle. Oh, this is a bit disastrous for Carter. He can get back out, actually. He can with the spring ball. But I don't know. It's going to be pretty tricky. You're going to have to do a spring ball jump out and then immediately freeze the crab. So this may take a little bit. Yeah, to super the crab off the wall, you have to shoot the super like right when you enter the room, because as soon as you enter the room, the crab starts climbing up onto the ledge and turns, so it's on the floor instead of on the wall, and then it doesn't get knocked off anymore. So you have to be very quick. And Carter only has a few attempts at this. It should be enough, but this is not a situation you want to find yourself in.
Nope.
The good news is once he does knock the crab off the wall and freeze it, the rest of getting out should be fairly trivial. You spring ball jump up to the crab, and then up to the ledge, and then you can get onto one of the grapple guys. I don't know what that enemy is called.
Chat, does anybody have a gravity suit that we can use, please? We just need to borrow it for just this race. 2 if you have, preferably 2 of them. We can give 1 to both racers, but we just need to borrow it. We'll give it back to you after the race.
That would be very nice. Unfortunately, I've not seen a gravity suit recently, so...
Jamoose says I would, but I can't. This one is from work.
Alright, so we got the hard part. So now Carter just needs to grapple onto the enemy, which is being annoying and flying up.
Yep, the flying balloon, whatever you want to call it.
Alright, so a little bit sketchy, but Carter's back. Everything's okay.
Adriano just had a glitch on the screen.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Tilt. Alright, through Everest, hard part over.
Yep, and then from here, getting back up is trivial. We don't even need to do the tight-ish short charge because we have grapple, so we just get up Everest nice and easy, the intended way. I say nice and easy, but that grapple jump is not easy at all. But I digress.
Nope. Adriano's realizing, nope, you can't get that map yet.
Yeah. Adriano probably going to realize soon that he just needs to go back and get the grapple beam.
Yep.
You know, that puts...
So again, 2 Metroid rooms down each.
Yeah, we got those really early Metroid rooms, and then the seed has not been so kind to us since then.
No, it hasn't. This seed is most certainly not free. Nice high 5 in Metroid Room 4. So this is going to be 5-minute lead at least for Carter.
Carter's actually not going down to those majors. Looks like they're going back up to potentially Brinstar again.
Yeah, I think
try to get
Carter
that map.
wants that Bryn map, yep. Good call, Derp.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know how much it's actually going to get them because, you know, we know that Spring Ball opened up 2 majors. It's very likely with how progression works in this that one of those majors is going to be the required item. Carter going back down? I think they may have realized. Oh no, they just went the wrong way to Bryn. A bit of frustration on the player cam, we'll call it. I like the hat on this model, by the way. The screw attack cap. Shoutouts to Carter or whoever
Yep.
rigged this model.
Which version of Link is this?
It looks like the Link to the Past, except there's two of them. So
Nicely done.
yeah, the big issue with this is you can't actually get back. So even when you get the sprint map, I don't know what the plan is after that.
I think at this point it's info.
Yeah, it's info, but it's I don't know. I think not going for the last two majors at Criteria is a pretty big mistake, but Carter might have missed that the spring ball opens up that room, puts it in logic, and the seed has not been nice, so it's also possible that
No, and I think Carter's really in trouble here.
A bit of tilt coming into play, perhaps.
Yeah, I think Carter realizing that they didn't have anywhere near the health to get to the map room. It'd take at least a tank and a half just to wait to get to the room, let alone dealing with the golden pirates and the bonk. Luckily has the save here. They really want this map info.
Yeah, we'll see what the map opens up, but again, there's not a whole lot to be done here, especially since we cannot get back. So unless we can end the game over here, all this progress is going to be a little bit dubious. We're just going for the map, but just moving around this room is tricky.
Yep. There's the second Gary. Finally moved by.
We kind of have the weird item loadout with screw attack, or not screw attack, space jump, speed, no high jump, where it's like, it's hard to complain because you have two really good movement items, but it makes your room-to-room execution really awkward, having the weird jump height and the sometimes awkward space jump, which I also feel is easier to control when you have a high jump alongside it.
Oh, Carter's going for it. Oh, and he finds Kago room. Let's go. That is
this farm is going to be nice.
Find. Yep. This is a farm room. This is Kago room. Nicely done.
Get this
Plenty of energy
nice
now.
and easy.
Yep.
I don't love that spark.
Nope.
But, okay.
That could have been
sure.
a bonk on the golden pirate.
Sure. Okay. We got to the map. We see
nothing.
Lack
you
of
get nothing.
Metroid rooms. There is a major.
That's it.
One major, and then we have to go all the way across the area to get to Meridia, which is presumably where the rest of the game is. But
there's that's brutal. You either have to go through Final Torian Room, or you have to get through Metal Pirates. Yikes.
Well, Metal Pirates isn't too bad.
Novaria, 2 tanks.
I mean, you can't... If you mess up, it gets pretty bad, but you've got supers to kill the Metal Pirates pretty easily, and they drop a lot of health. I didn't see where Adriano got a reserve, by the way.
I missed that as well.
Nice little jump there for Carter, getting up.
Adriano's not going to be happy about this for what it's worth. No grapple, no spring ball.
Oh, no.
And takes a French fry to the face!
No save either. Adriano all the way back to the ship.
This seed was jet at the beginning and has since become brutal.
I mean, it also brings up an interesting...
Boom!
That's a Feria. That's going to be really nice. So there's your
massive.
Metal Pirate easy access and all the other heated rooms. But yeah, it really just goes to show, like, even when you can skip items, like, again, both runners have been go mode since 5 minutes into the game. That doesn't necessarily mean you should. We actually have to go through Lava Dive. That's a little awkward. But yeah, those two majors in Criteria, one of them is almost certainly gravity. Like, it pretty much has to be at this point. And so, even if we're able to finish the seed without gravity, you can see how much slower things have gone for Carter and for Adriano, who I don't know if he's continuing. Hasn't forfeited in the race time, but is taking a little bit of maybe a mental reset. But yeah, skipping that gravity is just making every consecutive room afterwards so much more difficult. And so it brings up the point of, even if you can skip these items, it maybe isn't always the best idea to do it. Carter may be in trouble. I don't know if they saved. They did not, so they might have to go back and get that major again. The good news is they already have the map, so they don't have to go for that again. The bad news is I don't think this spring ball gets you across, if I am not mistaken. It's a tough one.
This is really tough.
Some of it is self-inflicted. Like I said, not going for those last two criteria majors has not been kind for Carter, and Adriano never even got that far in the progression. Didn't even keep the grapple beam.
I think Adriano at this point is just set on getting this map and continuing and never going back for those majors.
I mean, it kind of looks like Carter... Well, I thought they were as well, but
Carter
maybe they've got other plans. I don't think those other plans are going to go well if they involve this room, though. I guess Turian isn't... We haven't seen that either, so if there's stuff here, then that makes things even worse, because even if we get everything in Meridia, if we don't get a way to get back through the sandpit, then none of it actually matters. Can you do this with these items? You can get to the end of the room, I think. I believe the spring ball jump is high enough, but I don't think you can get out of the water is the issue, like to get to the door.
I think you can. That you can! Way to go, Carter!
Oh, we can. Okay, never mind. Let's go.
You see, folks, this is where Derp enjoys doing commentary early on in the race. He gets to learn extra tricks so he can defeat every other one of his opponents and then take the crown from Zeb from the first tournament. No?
We'll see about that. If you're setting me up to do some trash talk, I'll say that Zeb has not done a lot of map Rando recently, so I think I'll beat him, Smile, if we play in the tournament.
Oh, please, feel free to trash talk.
That's my trash talk. I'm gonna beat Zeb, Smile.
I like it. Get wrecked, Zeb.
Alright, looks like Carter is now going for those criteria majors. Gonna hit that gravity. Going to be very sad that they didn't do this 10 minutes ago when they got the spring ball.
Just kidding, we love Zeb. The winner of the inaugural Super Metroid Map Rando tournament, and what was an amazing best of 5. It's all up on YouTube, by the way. Go back and watch that entire best of 5. What a series.
Do that after these two races, though.
Yes, after these two races. You're here for Derp, I mean, duh.
Hey, we're here for the runners. Carter and Adriano. Despite the seed doing its best, they're showing off what they can.
Chat's very quiet. It is lunchtime.
It's a Tuesday afternoon or morning, depending on your time zone.
It's lunchtime.
It's lunchtime. Unfortunately, I had my leftover pizza for breakfast, so I don't know what to do for lunch.
Pizza does sound good. I saw that in the Discord. I'm like, Derp's got pizza, and now you're gonna share with us what kind of pizza.
So it's like a thin crust pizza with garlic Parmesan sauce.
Nice.
I like
Oats
non-red sauce.
Also, by the way, in chat saying Zeb is washed and scrambling to catch up with the heavy hitters.
I've been saying this.
We get a bolognese. We get a chicken salad. Derp's got pizza.
Well, I don't anymore. I ate it all. I don't have it for lunch anymore.
He's getting another pizza for lunch.
Maybe.
Hooray! Croc holds missiles. Yay!
Yeah, the prize was not the Croc item, but the item in like 4 more rooms that we had to go through Croc to get.
Well, like you've been saying, Derp, Carter's going to see these items, watch one of them probably be gravity.
I mean,
realize
I think it has to be. I don't think there's any other possibility.
No, we are locked by quite a few water rooms right now. So, we'll see. Adriano, though, still wants to make this play here to Brinstar. Don't know if this is the wisest choice.
Let's see. Again, there is a world where everything we need to finish the game is in Meridia. And in that case, Adriano, who can get to Meridia, although it's not in logic, you can do a high jumpless dive. Actually, with his health, I don't know if he can. It's gonna be tough.
This is a really tough pre-Coliseum room. RJ, commentators are having a great time. I know I am. I can't speak for Derp, though. Derp, you having a great time?
I would say so.
Excellent.
A little bit... The seed is being not nice to our runners, but I do think they've made a few self-inflicted mistakes that are a bit tough. Like, for example, I keep harping on it, I know, but not getting these items down here in Criteria earlier.
Yep. And especially for Adriano. No grapple, which then gets you spring, which we've already seen pay off massively for Carter.
Yeah, the spring is what got Carter all the way up here.
Yep. So here we go. It's time to get to the first major of 2. There's gravity!
What do you know?
We don't want your pancakes, chat. No, I'm kidding. And this is now a second major. And there's another E-tank for you.
There's another E-tank for you.
Oh,
and yeah, Carter knows where Varia is. This is a pretty free end game from here. The real question is, do you just go straight to Varia, or do you actually go into...
Okay, Derp, we can't say anything else is free in this scene. Because we have no idea. This is like, oh, 2 Metroid rooms. Easy seat. Nope. There's nothing left that's free in this scene.
Listen, we've got both suits. We will have both suits. We've got plenty of movement items. I'm not saying it will be quick. You know, it may take a while to find the Metroids and Mother Brain still, but we shouldn't have too much trouble from here. Or at least Carter won't. Adriano is still on a bit of a adventure.
An adventure. There we go.
Carter got to take the fast road out.
Yeah. You know, Dip, I was going to ask you if there was a way that Carter could have short-charged to at least get through the first set of speed blocks to make his way through on just his 2 energy tanks.
I mean, I think 2 E-tanks is enough to get down that room.
Yeah. There's lava.
I don't actually remember exactly how much health, but it's not that much, because it turns out Speed Booster makes you very fast. So you don't spend a whole lot of time in the Eden room.
Either way,
Believe
Carter
it or not.
got it. Hi, Adriano. Bye, Adriano. Hit by the Fume twice. I wonder if Adriano's either just locked in on doing Brinstar or completely forgot about the criteria mages.
I mean, I think at this point there is a little bit of sunk cost fallacy. Like, you've gotten all the way over here, you kind of just have to hope that it works out. And again, it still can, but it does require this high jumpless lava dive, which is a trick that normally you do with a setup from the previous room that we don't have access to with how the map actually is laid out. And it's not an easy trick, even when you have the setup.
Nope. So
Also,
we know
Adriano
that
needs to
one
turn off speed for
major...
it, but...
Yeah, we know that one major in Ice Room is Varia. Is Carter going to want to go all the way back here to Brinstar? That's going to be the biggest question.
Well, this is kind of what I was getting at earlier. Like, you're definitely going back because there's also the portal to Meridia. It was just the question of, do you go back now or do you go back after checking Turian? And it looks like Carter's chosen to go to the closer area. So it is Turian. It's generally going to be smaller than Meridia because of how the maps work out.
And we've already seen parts of Turian here as well.
Yeah, we can actually get up to Bryn this way, although I don't know where that elevator leads in Bryn. I didn't actually see.
It was G4. So
right. I mean, like, where in Bryn the spits out.
Oh, right. Yeah, because Carter couldn't get out of G4 before.
Yeah.
Business center.
Okay. I think this is on the far left side of the area, which is where we want to be if we're going to Meridia.
There's some lore I'd love to know. How the heck this room became named Business Center?
There's just a lot of business going on. I don't know.
Clearly.
Look at all the hustle and bustle of all the Sovas.
Going round and round like it's a NASCAR race.
That they are.
Oh no,
that
Carter,
elevator is not the right one. We have to go through the other elevator.
Whoopsie! Wrong elevator.
I mean, I feel that though. You know you have to go up an elevator. You don't want to look at the map too much. Especially in a long seed where it really starts to feel like you're losing so much time just constantly looking at the map.
Adriano is trying to do... So Adriano is trying to do high jumpless lava dive. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
And now he's back in criteria. So no Varia suit for Adriano.
Unfortunately so.
Unfortunate.
But you were kind of seeing what I was talking about where this wasn't enough health. You do normally have 2 tanks doing the lava dive.
Hello. That's a Metroid room.
One Metroid room. But you normally have 2 tanks doing the high jumpless lava dive in like GT Classic, but it's 2 energy tanks. It's not 1 tank, 1 reserve. So even though you technically have enough energy for the trick, the fact that you're also adding in, popping your reserve correctly, it made it so Adriano was not really able to do that, even with the
I don't know why
setup.
you said pop a reserve, and I just got the image of popping a can of soda.
I mean, that's kind of what you're doing. Just instead of soda, it's life force that prevents you from dying.
Yeah. Or like in PUBG, popping an energy drink to get that little bit of extra healing. Also,
no, I thought that was a Fortnite thing.
Well, PUBG had the original energy drink, the painkillers, and of course,
like the Red Bulls.
syringes.
I remember now. It's been so long since I played either of those games. I won't lie.
Tickle says, "Rough day at work. Kick up your feet and relax with a Chozo Reserve."
Well, the E-Tank is the name brand. The Chozo Reserve is the go to Costco, get the bulk pack.
The Kirkland brand.
Yeah, the Kirkland brand tanks.
Also, I'm just saying, if you had the over at a half on me talking about food at any point during the stream, congratulations, you cashed.
I believe that is the second time. You're already 2 for 2.
It's true. Kirkland Teresa brand cola.
Oh, wow.
All right, Jamoose, I see you. Gotcha, just having fun with that now. All right, Carter back into Bryn. We know has to go get Varia. Not that you really need it at this point, but... Carter got Metroid room, the 3rd Metroids, yes?
Yes, I'm kind of surprised Carter didn't go down to Norfair, actually. There was a portal to Norfair in Meridia, but they opted not to take it, instead going back here. I think I probably would have checked that out, but...
Also, shout out to Carter's avatar there.
It's cute. I like the hat. I mentioned that earlier.
Great hat.
Alright, looks like Carter's going to go for the Turian map. Makes sense. There's one really nice thing about finding the Ridley that we did, and that is that we know that we aren't going to find Ridley again. There's only one of them, so since we are able to avoid the one and we know where it is on the map, we never have to worry about running into it.
Please don't.
And every other boss is pretty easy from here.
Please don't give the developers any ideas. Otherwise, we're gonna get Oops All Bosses mode. All Ridley mode, which would probably peeve a lot of runners.
I'm down for 4 Ridleys.
Oh my gosh.
You have to remember the logic has to account for the fact that there's 4 Ridleys, so if you have to do one early, then it's just going to give you all the Ridley items. That sounds sick.
I feel like this is going to be the Dash tournament all over again, where you can have multiple of the same boss. No, Walranium, no. On premise, that's just a no. This is probably the Fantoon one. Oh, it's not. Okay.
No, it can't be the Fantoon one because we don't have a way back out. There is nothing in Turian, so Norfair it is.
Yeah, nothing in Turian.
Okay, Carter. I don't know if they saw the N.
Probably
There's an
not.
N on the map. Go to Meridia.
Do
please.
a thing! Walranium out here causing ridiculousness. Says this seat has 10 objectives. All those objectives are Ridley. Then, of course, Chozo comes in and says, suitless 10 Ridleys. And of course...
I've seen some people running the all objective seeds where it's like, you have to do all the bosses, all the Metroids, all the mini bosses. Just do that, but we replace all of them with Ridley. Thoughts?
Sounds terrible.
Thank you.
Welcome. Walranium also says Varia's hidden behind one of the Ridleys. Hope you guessed correctly. Please stop it. Let's not give the developers any ideas. There you go. Carter found Norfair.
Alright, if I'm not mistaken, this is the last area we've seen, so we know the
Correct.
last Metroid room and Mother Brain are going to be here.
This is correct.
Damn, there's a double save. Look at that. I think this map is Fantoon as well. Because we've seen every other area.
Yep.
So we know Fantoon's actually right here, because it's the only other right door. And we will be fighting one boss, as it turns out.
I got a funny feeling Indiana Jones was Charge Beam.
I mean, you don't need Charge Beam, but
Nope.
it could have been. How many majors are we still missing? We don't have High Jump, we don't have Charge. We know where Varia is, so it's not that. Spring, or Screw Attack rather, and Bombs. So there's 4. I think we've seen 2 or 3 of the majors in other areas. So maybe. So Adriano got his Spring Ball. Did not look like he's going straight to the other 2 majors in Criteria, unfortunately.
I think this seed has really messed up Adriano.
It's been a tough one.
It is. It's been a very brutal seed. Again, race 2 coming up right after this one. Same SpeedGaming channel. You don't need to switch. Derps get you for that game.
I will be here.
Derp also may have pizza. We just have no idea.
I will not have pizza.
No.
Alright, well, we found the rest of the stuff down in the bottom right of Norfair. Let's see exactly how we get that. There could be Charge right here. Apparently there's more majors left than I thought. I thought we'd seen more.
Nope. Still need Bomb, Screw, Charge, and High Jump.
Carter didn't even check it. We'll never
I don't
know.
think Carter cares.
I mean, they don't. but
They
I care.
want to be done with this seed.
Have you thought about the fact
Derp
that I
cares.
care?
This is about commentators and their needs, not about racers and your needs. Rude. Oh, they're right on top. They're right on top of each other. Mother Brain and then the Metroid room right below. That's kind of perfect.
Yep, they're both right here next to each other.
Also, just gonna give a quick plug here. If you want to get involved with commentary and or tracking, we can get you set with that. Exclamation point SMRMC will get you access to the Discord. If you want to sign up The sign-up link is in the tourney info channel in the Discord. Carter's like,
Carter
wait a
went to
minute,
the
what?
Mother Brain room and not the Metroid room.
Mhm.
Oops.
We could definitely use commentators. We can definitely use trackers. Trackers are, in fact, the unsung heroes, in my opinion, Darp.
Yeah, we may not have done the best job tracking this one, but
The racers will forgive us.
we got there. We got there in the end. That's what's
We
important.
did. And we all know chat actually has their own trackers. They've been tracking this entire time.
I'm saying they all track without us and then just make us look silly.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, that is why the dedicated trackers are so important, because it is very hard to track while we're yapping like we are.
That is true.
Alright, so on to Mother Brain 1, and then once we beat it, the game will start the escape. No MB2 required. So the lack of charge beam does not matter.
Nope. Now this is going to be a really interesting out.
Yeah, you want to... There's only one way back. You have to go to Meridia, and then you're actually going to Bryn, and then I think down to Turian. Just back down the G4 elevator.
2-minute, 40-second escape.
I think it's going to be a lot shorter than that.
You think it's going to be shorter than 240? What do you think?
I think it's going to be shorter than 2 minutes.
Okay. Chat, what about you? What do you think the timer is going to be?
It's saying 205.
205,
That's probably right, actually.
210! Tickles, you are the closest without going over. You have won the double showcase. You get a whole lot of nothing!
We're stocked up on prizes here at the Super
absolutely
Metroid Map Rando tournament.
Yep. Carter, you could have at least picked the missiles up so the missiles don't blow up when the planet explodes. Jeez! Not even a Rice-A-Roni in ages. I love it.
Actually, nice little interesting thing here. This room, normally we could not go left or right, but because of the Hyper Beam, we can actually hit the Super Gate from the left side. So we can go this way. Nice for Carter, gets to escape the way they came. It's always the easiest way to do it.
Yep. Also, we should let everyone know that saving the animals is off for all settings. If you've been watching the Season 3 community races, there are some races where you have to save the animals and some aren't. And we're just letting you all know, Save the Animals is not on for any of the 5 courses.
I don't think they'll do it, but technically, if Carter wants to, the animals are on path to the ship, because there's Bomb Teresa right next to the ship, like 2 rooms across. So, if they want to, it won't be too much of a time investment. So Adriano gets that gravity suit. At least have the peace of mind figuring out the progression. And soon, I think Adriano might have the peace of mind of moving on to the next seed, I'm not gonna lie.
No kidding. Alright, so, again, we're gonna let you know this was... Carter's map pick. Oh, no, excuse me, this is Adriano's map pick.
Yeah, Adriano
Carter's
did pick
pick is next.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what Carter picks. I believe double suit and Varia plus suitless movement are the 2 categories left.
Varia and suitless movement is correct, and... Let's see. What'd you say the other one was?
Double suit.
Correct.
Now we see if Carter wants to go 2 rooms out of their way to save the animals. You can see it on the map right there. You see the Bomb Teresa room.
Do it! Carter! Save the animals!
Disaster. Carter, with all the It was actually going to be kind of sketchy on time if they did it. Instead, they're going to opt to finish the race with an official time of 1:09:15. And that is game 1. Adriano did not forfeit in race time, but it's looking like he is going
There's
to...
the forfeit.
Yeah, there we go.
All right. Well, that was a fun way to start the day.
Yeah. Are we doing interviews? I thought we were doing the next race right after.
We are doing the next race afterwards. Interviews only happen after the entire series is complete.
All right. Looking back, y'all. Game 2, the best of 3 between Karterfreak and Adriano in the map Rando Multicategory tournament. Had a pretty interesting game 1. Seed was a Metroid no MB2, and we got an early ice, so the runners got a little bit baited into thinking they may potentially be able to skip some of the logic, only to get owned by a really long logic chain with gravity at the end, and all of the late areas being restricted to, or having gravity required to get to them, I should say. But that brings us to game 2, and Karterfreak's map pick got the double suit, which is pretty self-explanatory. We're going to be starting off with the Varia and the gravity suit, so no suit hunting today. Always nice. Nice change of pace after what we just went through, I would say. Still need to find all of the bosses, kill all the bosses, and of course get all the items required to do so. Need that charge beam, need some beams, need some ammo, but first we need a morph ball. So, see an early area transition here. Turian and Criteria. Neither map is particularly accessible, looks like. I didn't even see where the Turian map was on Adriano's pan. It might be all the way at the top. Yeah, I don't think Adriano went down here, interestingly. So Carter went down the elevator in Criteria, gets rewarded with an early space jump, which... not great for Adriano to have skipped that. May end up needing that in the future, and we'll have to go back for it. For example, the space jump gets you from the bottom of the red tower to the middle. So those two doors are not in logic, even though we entered from the middle and we can get to them. Since we can't get back, they are not in logic for Adriano. But for Carter, has that space jump. We are able to get that. And so if the next required item is down there, then that's what we need. And so we'll see if Carter actually makes that play right away, if they want to go down to the rooms that are accessible with the space jump. Looks like they're going to go up this elevator first. So we're actually going to have a little bit of sync. And you've already seen the power of having these two suits early, by the way. Oh, actually, Adriano went up a different elevator. He went up this one. But you see the power of those two suits. We've already seen a heated room. We've already seen a couple water rooms. And unlike last race, the runners do not need to worry about that. So that can be a blessing and a curse, because having both those suits early means that so much more is accessible. It's a lot harder for a room to just block you off. We find a red tower, which we cannot get to. I believe Adriano saw that earlier, and I missed it, unfortunately. But here's where that space jump comes into play. Carter's able to go over here, get that speed booster. It's going to be the next progression, most likely. So I'm not 100% sure what speed booster opens. I guess it opens the item at the beginning in Main Street. I think that was a super. See if that's where Carter wants to go. Just straight back there. Or if there's something else they have in mind. So I assume Adriano is heading the same way. Unfortunately, didn't get that space jump early, but now, seeing the space jump, likely going to realize that the pantry item is likely the progression, and it turns out that it is right. There's a super there. I was right. So those supers are going to open this door that Carter just walked up next to in order to get the spark. Another nice thing about double suit is that it gives you the full 75% damage reduction. So I think Carter was thinking about going to Big Pink there. Unfortunately, no morph means that they can't actually make it through with the entrance that they found. And there's the morph. Unfortunately, we're still blocked because we would need a bomb item. Yeah, we'll see where Carter wants to go from here. The morph opens up a lot. That's the big early item. Once you get that, then you can really start playing the game. So we will see where the game wants us to go next. It's not that way, unfortunately. That would have actually just linked back to this room here, the Hoda Ruby missiles, in that vertical door all the way on the right. Didn't see if Adriano made it to that speed booster yet, or not. Looks like they did, because they're coming back. I'm gonna assume they did. Thank you, chat, for letting me know. Though, I guess I would have figured it out pretty shortly when he used the speed booster to get this item. Didn't quite get the short charge, unfortunately. There's those super missiles. Adriano soon to get the morph ball. Carter checking out the red tower. Seeing if there's anything to get. Again, these doors down here are in logic because of the space jump. So this is technically still step 2 of logic if there's anything down here. Although I guess the super door puts it step 4. Required the supers and the morph actually to get through this. And that brings us to some items. Let's see if these give us anything nice. See a major. See an E-tank, which... Do you need 3 E-tanks to beat the game? Even with the double suit providing so much protection through all the rooms and all the enemies. You're gonna be needing... Oh, Adriano died. What happened? That's pretty bad, because that is a full reset. We have not seen a save yet. So Adriano is going to have to go through this early game progression again, get that space jump, go over to speed, and then get the supers and morph again. That's a little bit rough. But the good news is, since you know where everything is, since Adriano knows where to go, it won't take nearly as long as the first time, but it's still not a time loss you want to be taking. Died to the hoppers. That makes sense. Even with full suits, those hoppers do a lot of damage. I think it's 40 still. 30 or 40. Carter taking the screw attack. Not totally sure where this is taking us, I won't lie. I'm gonna leave everything tracked for Adriano for now, since I would be shocked if he does anything but go back and get all those items in a row. Yeah, I didn't see what room was over here on the right side of Criteria. But whatever it is, Carter wants to bring the screw attack there. And that makes sense why. There's a couple items here. Unfortunately, you can't actually get out if you leave the room, so we're just grabbing these items and leaving unless we find a power bomb. And we do not. We are only finding some missiles. So Carter hopefully makes a heads-up play of not leaving the room and reloading that crumble block, which would prevent them from leaving again. Not totally sure where the screw attack is supposed to be taken to. We haven't been able to get to a map yet. And again, we've seen Big Pink, but we can't actually access it because of no bombs or power bombs. Brings us to a bit of an awkward situation where we're just trying to figure out what to do. There's plenty of directions to go, and it's just picking the right one. I don't think you can get through this with screw attack. I think you need a bomb block because you have to break a bomb. Or no, you can. You can get through this because you can just do the shot blocks. I'm silly. I know how this game works. Yeah, Carter coming over here. Normally the way you exit the room, or I guess the way you would go left to right. But it is still accessible right to left. And our reward is a whole lot of nothing. We get a nice double refill, which honestly isn't even that nice because now we know we aren't going to find one later on when it could be more useful. So Carter gonna actually reset pretty far back. Reset to right after they got the screw attack, so losing out on a couple missiles. Not the biggest deal, but kind of unlikely that we go back to them, I think. Adriano is all caught up once again, got that morph ball. So now the question is, when does he go back to where the screw attack was? We might actually see him go down through the Forgotten Highway. Metal Pirates are possible. We have the suits, obviously, but we also have both supers and speed booster. Looks like Carter doesn't want to go for the speed kill. Maybe forgot they had it. It is a bit tricky. And it's actually very awkward when you don't have high jump to spark into the exact right spot to hit the pirate. It's not super tight, but with high jump, you're just already pressed up against the ceiling, so you just put yourself in the spot. Whereas without high jump, you kind of have to spark into the spot. But either way, Carter gonna go a different way. Able to use the screw or the speed booster to get through pre-Batoon. And we find our power bombs. It's a big find there. Another super pack is also really nice. And so I think with that power bombs, yeah, Carter's gonna check this door, but I assume they're going to, well, definitely now, gonna head back to Big Pink. There's 3 items there. There's a map you can grab. Basically everything that Carter could want. So they're headed that direction. Nice deboost there from Adriano. Got the impressive. Carter has made it into Big Pink. Gonna grab these items first, get a wave beam. Beams are a lot more relevant in this mode, since we actually have to fight the bosses. Obviously in Metroid, the only real important beam is just the ice beam, since that lets us clear the Metroid rooms a lot quicker and a lot safer. But when we have to fight a Ridley, we have to fight a Mother Brain too. We want all the firepower we can get, so even though the Wave Beam doesn't directly do anything just yet, it is definitely a nice find. Also makes doing gate glitches a lot easier, since we don't actually have to do them. We can just shoot the gate. Looks like that's basically it for Turian. There's a couple more X's that I don't think Carter will chase. I assume we're just going to see him head over to Norfair. Check it out. There's a few different entrances to Norfair. The closest one is up here. Looks like Carter's actually going to take this middle one, right next to Big Pink. Which actually, I think that's faster to get to, so... I guess it works out. We'll see if this item is important here at the Edekuni tank. And if we can get to it from the left side, we might actually have to see Carter wrap around and grab it. It's just a power bomb, but the second power bomb pack is non-trivial. Even with the bombs, which makes duplicate power bombs not super useful. And we see another new area. Brinstar, there's a pretty close map. That might actually be Fantoon. Looks like... Okay, it's not. But that could have led to... Watering Hole. It instead just leads to the tube. That's interesting. And we're in another new area. Find our way into the wreck ship. 2 items here in the aqueduct for Carter. Just a couple of missiles, but in the early game, you're not going to be too sad about finding those. There's a map station pretty close, right to the left. Carter remembering they have bombs. That is an important thing to do with only 5 power bombs. Adriano's actually going to go for this Big Pink out of logic. It's pretty tough, but it is doable. And if he gets it, he'll get the bombs. He will see that next power bomb pack. So can get that as well, in theory. But again, it is really tough. And you see the wreck ship is kind of empty. There is one far major. And there is a save too, so I don't mind going for it here. You've got the save in Aqueduct. You can go all the way to the major. If it's like a spazer or something, then you can reset it. If not, then... I guess it's a little bit awkward if it's anything but charge, because everything else is just nice to have, but not really required. That is one of the interesting things of playing double suit, because obviously majors are really valuable, but you already have 2 of the best majors from the jump with the Gravity and Varia suit. So it makes going for majors a little bit more of a decision. Because again, even though there are plenty of majors that are nice, the charge beam is the only one that's really required. And even then, we have 2 early supers. The charge might be skippable. But Carter is going to make the play to go for it. It's not too far away. There's also a couple E-tanks if you want to continue a couple rooms past it. See if Carter wants to do that. Adriano's still attempting to do this logic break. Get into Big Pink. Oh my gosh, that was so close. The super was like a frame late. It was just too high to break the block. And yeah, to answer chat, yes, this mode does have all the bosses required. Ice Beam, I don't think you're going to reset that. Obviously not required, but it makes Mother Brain a lot easier, especially if you don't find charge. Just having a guaranteed Zeb skip, no matter what Mother Brain's position is really nice. Obviously, the speed can sometimes be used as Zeb skip, but it depends on the layout. Looks like Adriano... He's gonna keep trying it. He got really close. So... yeah, we'll see how quickly he's able to get this, if he's going to keep going for it. You can see the hard part. It isn't even getting the short charge, although it is a pretty tight short charge. It's hitting the block. Really difficult. You have to shoot so early in your jump. While still getting all of the inputs after that, which are not trivial. You can see because Adriano's going for the shot, he's jumping all the way to the ceiling, which makes getting the mock ball really tough there. Yeah, looks like he's gonna bail on it for now. Check out what's over here. I believe this is where the power bombs were, so gonna be happy about that at least. Although maybe a little bit upset that he spent so much time trying to sequence cricket. Mark off Carter's ice. Carter also getting to the Brinstar map. We see there is a boss, I believe that's Kraid. And there's Motherbrain, so don't really need to head over there yet. We can do Kraid at the end when we are headed to Motherbrain. We're just looking for the other 3 bosses. Carter taking some extra time to really study the maps that they have. See where do they want to go. It's a little bit awkward. They're going to grab this E-tank right here that's close. Or it's a reserve. To answer chat, I would say Carter is currently winning a little bit further ahead in the progression. We still have not seen either runner fight a boss, although Carter does know where one is. I guess knows where 2 is, counting Motherbrain. We have a baby skip attempt. I don't think this will be much of an attempt with how high jump, unfortunately. But we do get an E-tank for our troubles. So Carter's going to be fine getting set to 1 HP. Again, the heated room is no problem. And the E-tank brings us back. Adriano going to find out about that Turian map. The Norfair map is actually interesting. There's another Norfair map portal on the other side of Big Pink, so it looks like Norfair kind of wraps around Turian in a way. So Adriano gonna enter Norfair through this way, partially to get this farm, and then, while he doesn't know it, it is also going to get him a power bomb pack that Carter wasn't able to get. Carter, on the other hand, potentially going to Meridia. There is a major up there, but Carter's not gonna grab it just yet. Gonna head to Meridia first. I don't think we've seen Meridia yet. That is a very close map once again. Of course the map is going to be as annoying as possible. We're going to have to wrap around it. I guess that wasn't too bad. Adriano, meanwhile, not going to take the path that Carter did. Going to do a little bit more of Norfair exploration. We see a Dragon. We see a couple majors up here for Carter in Meridia. And there's the other big double refill. Once again, not really at a time that it's very useful. I don't actually remember where the map is in Norfair relative to where the runners are currently. Or I should say what the runners have seen of Norfair currently. Carter is elsewhere, doing some sparks on Dragon. That damage is a little bit scary. Carter might have to finish off this fight with some ammo. Would like to see them shoot off some supers there. Getting a little bit scary. Shoot your supers, please. Carter, don't be afraid. And now we are in a bit of an awkward spot where Dragon is not dead and we don't have any ammo. Luckily the goo will give us some drops, unless it doesn't. Goodness. Alright, looks like Adriano's made it to the Norfair map. Pretty likely this is Fantoon. And that it is, so there's a couple right doors that could hide the boss. Adriano picks the close one, and that is correct. So I've got dueling boss fights, although one is much further into it than the other. Carter having a bit of trouble with this Dragon, but I think this volley of missiles, I think that would have been enough. Adriano, meanwhile, also rolling missiles. But able to get... I wasn't looking closely because I was watching Carter. I think that was a 2-round though, and we actually have basically synchronized boss kills. A really nice Fantoon fight for Adriano. Gonna get this Norfair map, which Carter was not able to get before leaving the area. There's a spring ball, which does not really do anything for Carter. I don't imagine they'd go for it. Norfair has a few more majors. There's one fairly close through Leodoc's room. Imagine we see him go for that. So where does Carter go? Meridia didn't look like it had anything else of note. I like that that blue suit from Adriano. That was cute. Fortunately, the major is not so nice. It does come with an E-tank, but the grapple beam not going to do us a ton. I guess it will make the Dragon fight a lot faster. If he wants to do that instead of ammo or speed. Yeah, we are still looking for that charge beam. Carter, that major is there. Carter. Do they think that it's the major you need to kill Fantoon to get? The major was accessible, right? Because that was Attic Missile, that wasn't right side super. So the majors, you don't need to kill Fantoon to get back out. Right? Okay, so that could be a big time skip. I to see Adriano grab that X, by the way. It's right next to where he is right now. That's okay. Gonna, I believe, chase a couple more majors first. Those majors are really annoying to get to, though. We're gonna have to go a bit around the world to get him. But Adriano is committed, and he will get them. There's some X's on the way, so even if they're kind of bad majors, which at this point there aren't really that many bad majors left. It's kind of just X-Ray and like Spazer. This high jump is really nice because it makes your movement so much better. Charge is obviously what you're looking for. Plasma does a lot of work. So Carter's actually going to go over here to fight Kraid now. I didn't see if there was a major over here or not. Did not quite get the Kraid quick kill. And then Kraid decided to be a bit silly and move around a bunch, so getting enough missiles on the backup was not possible either. The bosses have not been kind to Carter. This one. Alright, so first major over here. It is high jump, so there's that movement item I was talking about. Makes things a lot nicer. I'd like to see him grab this X in the pirate room. I'm sure he will. Just wanted to grab the major first, because if it's charged, you don't really need it. Carter finds a power bomb. Adriano finds a super. One of them's going to be a little happier than the other, I imagine. Carter is getting a bunch of X's over here, though. Unfortunately, they're both power bombs. That's tough. Alright, so the last major is down through towards Mama Turtle. In this room that has a name, and I don't remember it. Heading into double chamber. Get that major. And it is our Spazer. So the high jump is nice, but still no charge. I think there is one more X for Adriano to get on his way back if he wants to go down to Korapit. As there's another not so great major, we find the X-ray. So looking more and more likely that that major that Carter thought they couldn't get. Looking more and more likely that might be charge. There's a super behind Mother Brain. That's really nice. It's a really interesting race now. I'm not totally sure who's ahead in this position. It's still probably Carter, but it's close. I guess we have enough majors that we know that it's a full 50-50. Yeah, chat pointing it out before I processed it. But the item that Carter didn't get is a 50-50 to be either charge or plasma. So either one is pretty devastating outcome to skip. Alright, Adriano gonna grab these X's now. Or the 1X, sorry. Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate that he doesn't have ice, because we're already getting close to having enough ammo to beat the game. Where is the map here? Okay, it's all the way to the left. So Carter broaching the Fantoon. So I believe this was the area with Fantoon. As we see one of the two items that don't exist because of the starting with double suit. Interestingly, Carter actually enters the room from the other way. Adriano entered from the top. Carter came in from the bottom. Either way, both have a 50-50 of which remaining door was Fantoon, and both guessing right. This will be the third boss for Carter, actually. Still looking for Ridley, though. I don't believe we've seen it on the map anywhere. Yeah, Adriano gonna get this Bryn map. Gets the crate and Mother Brain knowledge. There's a major back there. There's another major up right above where he was before. Question is, what does he want to do from here? Takes us back up to Mount Everest, I believe? Yeah. Looks like Adriano's gonna head down to the wrecked ship. Fairly close map. I don't think there was anything here, though. Adriano deciding if he wants the items first or the map. Gonna go for the items and be a little bit disappointed with these double missiles. Yeah, I think Chad is right that the only map we haven't seen is Criteria. So it really has to be somewhere back there. So it's kind of turning into a question of who gets back there first. That far major for Adriano. I wouldn't be surprised if he just doesn't go for it, though. There's a close X here at the right side of Aqueduct. You're 35-20. You only need a couple more X's. I think I'm skipping this major as Adriano. I think I just go for the X that's close and leave the area to keep boss hunting. Looks like he disagrees, though. He wants Divine Charge. Unfortunately, he's not going to find it, but he's going to get ice, which is also very helpful. Carter has to make the big decision if they want to go for all those majors, and it looks like the answer is no. Well, I guess we'll find out in a second. They're headed back to Green Bryn elevator. If they want to go for the majors, they have to go up. And up they will not go. Not yet, at least. Gonna get this X. I think with the super, you're gonna be more inclined to just believe that the ammo works out. Adriano's got that ice beam. Alright, so Carter is going to go for those. Going to take the save first. I like this a lot. You can get those majors, and then when they aren't charged, which we know they aren't, you can just reset back. Resetting high jump feels kind of bad. Resetting Spazer, quite the opposite. Adriano actually didn't go for that X that was on the other side of Aqueduct, so potentially just committed to the major hunt. He does need to head to Meridia. Dragon was in Meridia. Adriano has not gotten that boss down yet. And then from the Meridia map, he'll know that he needs to go back to Praeteria. I think Carter already knows that. They're just looking for... They're grabbing all the majors on path because they're trying to find charge. I may be standing corrected once again. Adriano didn't go for the X at the other side of Aqueduct, but is going for all these X's here. Just needs 2 more super packs. Unfortunately, that power bomb is a little bit annoying. A little bit of a troll. There's the super, though. And so, we need 1 more. Fortunately, we aren't going to find it close by, so Adriano is going to head to Meridia. Carter has grabbed their high jump. We'll see if they decide to reset once they find the Spazer. I would assume so. You made the reset save for a reason. Even though high jump is nice to have, it doesn't actually get you anything. And it is going to be quite a backtrack to get out. Yeah, Carter sees the Spazer, gonna reset out. And I think with that, Carter's actually pretty ahead, because they're just headed to Praeteria at this point, I assume. Adriano has started the Dragon battle. This one's going to be a lot easier than Carter's, thanks to that grapple. Looks like Adriano's not even going to bother with any speed booster shenanigans. Just going to open up the fight with some ammo. Get into position to grapple. Not going to get the quick kill. So, Dragon's gonna swing us around for a little bit. But with both suits, we've got plenty of health. There's nothing to worry about. And Adriano has taken down his second boss. Carter actually knew that that X was a power bomb. Might have forgotten. It has been a while. There's another X on the way down. There's actually 2 more. And I believe the second one in Main Street was also a super, although it's a little awkward to get to. Adriano did not scout this major, so just gonna run into it blind, find the spring ball, and say, no, thank you. Don't want that. Carter needs to do a little glitch here. Hit the super block off screen. Your projectile remains intact for 1 frame after going fully off screen, and in that 1 frame, if you're lined up correctly, it will go 3 pixels instead of 2 on that frame, and we'll hit the block. I think Adriano is pretty comfortable to continue without finding any items. There's 3 X's over my mother brain. Obviously, we know 2 of them are power bombs, which is a little bit unlucky, but the third one will be the 30th super that Adriano needs. And so you just need to head back to Criteria. And hopefully Adriano realizes that fairly quickly, since Carter is already on the way. He's getting this super as well, which Adriano also should know about. So that should be his 30th, I would assume. Yeah, it's a pretty big lead for Carter currently. Both runners are headed the same way, but Carter is a little bit ahead and has already fought Kraid. Actually, it looks like Adriano is going over to Mother Brain, though. That's going to give Carter a pretty big advantage, because Adriano's going to have to come back here later. Like, this doesn't actually get him anything. Like that. So to Criteria we go. Carter heading towards the map, which is on the far left of the area. See if we run into the ship on the way, or if we'll have to find that later on in the escape. Well, not find, because we're almost certainly hitting the map. But have to traverse new territories. I think we might have passed the map. We've gone pretty far to the left. And we are still going. Oh, no, here it is. Everything works out. Look at that. The ship and Ridley are both over to the right. Of course. No easy save to reset to. Carter's gotta fly all the way back. But yeah, this is a pretty significant lead for Carter. I don't even... Did Adriano even get any of the majors that were by Mother Brain? I think it was just X-Ray. And he does not have X-Ray, so... Not looking too likely. Carter gonna grab these missiles that they grabbed all those years ago. By years, I mean like 40 minutes. On the way down to Ridoli. I believe the fastest way is actually going to go to the left of this room. That will take you to Pre-Aqueduct. Then the right door in Pre-Aqueduct goes to Ridley. Well, eventually. Carter actually gonna potentially go for a major? Yeah, so 50-50 if this is charge or plasma, right here. If it's plasma, then we're getting the awful truth. But it is charged, so plasma beam was the item that Carter skipped. That they unknowingly could have grabbed. But there's no harm, no foul, although there actually is a little bit of harm, because the plasma would be really nice right now, going into a Ridley fight. It's going to be much slower than it otherwise could have been. Carter actually has the option to go to the ship and refill first before fighting Ridley, and it looks like that's what they're going to do. It's going to be a pretty slow fight, like I said, so getting your full supers and being able to almost fully kill the boss with just super missiles is going to make things a lot nicer. Plus there's an E-tank on the way. What's not to love? Well, Carter did not want the E-tank. Makes sense. 5+1 is already a comfortable go mode, health-wise, with both suits. Adriano did not get that X. I hope he remembers that on the way back up. That would be the 30th super, and then we're fine and dandy from there. Carter not going to save 15 supers for the phase change of Ridley. Just going to open up the fight with all the supers and then end off with missiles and charge shots. Again, health isn't really a concern with this much. It's just a matter of how long will this fight take. Unfortunately, Ridley's being a little bit mean here at the end. This is why you don't want to open the fight with supers. You want to end the fight off, because once Ridley gets low enough, he'll start getting real mean, going extra fast. But the fight was over relatively quickly. Carter got a nice fast grab. Just has to head back to Mother Brain, which is a few areas away. Gonna have to go all the way back to Turian, all the way through Turian to Bryn, and then pretty much all the way across Bryn. It's a bit of a trek. Reminder that this is round 1 of this tournament. We've got a lot more left to go. That's just in the upper bracket. There are actually 2 consolation tournaments in the silver and bronze bracket. This is currently the gold. If Carter is able to close out the race with this lead, they will go on to play Oats and Goats in round 2. Not an enviable position by any means, but fortunately this upper gold bracket is double elimination, so the loser of that match and the loser of this match will both get another chance to continue on in this gold bracket of the tournament. Yeah, Carter on the trip, all the way back. And then we'll have to go all the way back again for the escape. Actually gonna have to go through Norfair too. I skipped an area if you go through. Goodness. Just keeps on going. Let's see if Adriano wants to go for that major in Criteria as well. Would be rewarded with the charge beam. It looks like he does. Hard to say if I would have gone for ammo in this seed or not. It's easy to say, like, oh yeah, just grab all the ammo that I know about from watching two people race, and also that I can comfortably route because I'm not under the pressure of playing the game. I do think I would have gone ammo still, but it's a little bit awkward. Adriano beginning the Ridley fight, not quite entering with as much ammo. Does have that charge beam though. And it is a little bit more powerful with the Spazer. Gonna do 300 damage instead of 180 per charge shot. Carter has made their way into Bryn. As mentioned, they have to go all the way across Bryn to Mother Brain. It's not just that the escape goes through 4 areas. It goes all the way through all 4 areas, pretty much. It is a journey and a half. Carter kind of accidentally gone this way towards the save, but since we're here, might as well take the safety save, just to make sure nothing fancy happens. Either one of these doors takes us to Mother Brain on the left. Adriano done with that Ridley fight. Gonna take the ship refill, and then it's time for him to make the journey. So that item that you saw on Carter's map, where they entered the room and didn't actually check it, it was the attic missile at the top right of Rex ship in vanilla, which is accessible, but I believe Carter thought that it was right side supers, which is not accessible if you don't have Fantoon defeated, because there's a robot that blocks the bomb blocks. You can technically get the item, but you can't get out. So Carter actually entered the room, misread which room it was, and then left. And so we know now that that's Plasma Beam, which would be very nice for Carter right now. Again, having Plasma would give them a full beam combo. But fortunately, they were able to find everything else. We've actually seen every major. I believe both runners have seen... Well, no, Adriano never actually went up to the Plasma. But he's seen everything else. So both runners do have full major knowledge in this seed. But unfortunately, Carter's mistake cost them quite a bit of DPS on Ridley and Mother Brain. Fortunately, they have enough supers that it's not going to matter too much. But that is the situation we find ourselves in. Carter still only needs a few charge shots to deal with Mother Brain. Maybe a few more than is comfortable, especially with no high jump. Dodging these catch-up shots can actually be a little bit tricky. They're going to make sure to damage down as safely as possible. Check the map real quick, make sure they know how to escape. Once you get to criteria, you're going to want to go right. This is going to be a long escape. I think it's going to be well over 3 minutes. $3.15. You kind of see the interesting dynamic of all the modes in this tournament. Like Double Suit, you start with 2 really powerful items. You expect these seats to go really quickly, and they can, but they don't always. So that's kind of the perspective I have, at least, going into the multicat for all the modes. Like, they all can be faster than a traditional map rando seed, but they don't have to be. You can still end up with... I think I've done comms for 3 races now in this tournament. All 3 have gone over an hour. And that's with starting items, with less objectives. A mean seed is going to be a mean seed. It doesn't matter what you have to start off. If it wants to make you take your time, you're going to be taking your time. And we've already seen quite a few mean seeds. This one wasn't too bad, just a lot of exploration. A lot of the objectives are pretty far away from each other, so there really was no way to do this quickly. The quickest way would have been to do a pretty deranged play of going all the way back to criteria once you got power bombs. When you're right next to Big Pink, which is right next to Norfair and the rest of the areas. Yeah, I would agree with chat's sentiment that Carter has played this really well. I think Adriano has for the most part as well. Unfortunately, the early game is not quite as clean, and then the decision to go to Kraid instead of Mother Brain, or the decision to go to Kraid with Mother Brain next to it instead of going to criteria, cost him a lot of time as well. If he had not done that, this race would actually be very close. Because both would have been headed to Ridley at around the same time. Adriano actually had the movement advantage with the high jump. So getting to Mother Brain would have been a little bit nicer. This is the easiest of the areas to get through. Basically just headed straight down. If you can go down, you go down. For the most part. Ooh, Adriano taking a catch-up shot from Mother Brain. Can't take another one, but fortunately has enough health to finish off the fight. It got a little bit sketchy, but we're okay. I will be sure to ask Carter about the plasma check in the interview. A little bit of back and forth here in criteria. You have to go to the right, and then that sends you back to the left to the room that ultimately connects to the ship. But here we are. Karterfreak going to finish off the race, finishing in first place with an official time of 1:03:04. And that is going to do it for this best of 3. Karterfreak wins 2-0. is going to move on to play Oats and Goats in the second round of the tournament. Big GGs to both runners. Looks like Carter's getting set up for an interview. I believe Adriano will be as well. While they're getting set up, we can talk about the upcoming races. There's, I believe, one restreamed best of 3 for the tournament for tonight. It's the Chozo Bozo versus Albies. Then there's another best of 1. Let me double check who it is. I do not remember. My internet is being slow at a critical moment. Techno Waffle versus Unforeseen Menace. See if we get a restream for that. But after that, we've got a full slate of races on Wednesday. Plenty of best of 3s and plenty of best of 1s. And then only more races from there as we progress towards the weekend. We got a lot of races coming up. If you like watching Map Rando, like watching these interesting multi-category modes, then great news. There is plenty coming your way. All right, we are joined by both runners,
Hello,
karterfreak and Adriano. GG's to both of y'all.
Thank you very much.
I guess I'll start from the beginning. I believe, Carter, you've already given us your general thoughts on the first seed with the long progression to gravity and really no way to skip it. But I guess the same question to Adriana, really. How are you feeling in that seed 1 where
I don't know.
things were not really going well for either of y'all?
Yeah, I was like really lost on both seats, but at the first one, I understood the logic very late. Like when because at first I thought like we need to do lava dive. When I did reach to the place where lava dive was, but I think I kind of understood the logic too late, and I had to go back for all those majors at the first one, and I knew it was like very, very late. But the start, I think it was kind of good when I like find the 2 Metroid rooms. I don't know, like how was the play of Carter, but yeah, that's it for the first race.
Yeah, that first race, we both definitely found the Metroid rooms pretty early, I imagine. But I think we both made the same mistake where we tried to skip majors.
Yeah.
And we just ended up getting locked everywhere because you needed to get gravity.
Yeah.
Yeah, the gravity was basically hard required in that seed. But yeah, that brings us to a very different seed 2 where the progression wasn't all too bad, but everything was so spread out on the map that it took a while to find everything.
I was actually really nervous towards the end of that seed because I had taken so much time to get those out of the way majors and they weren't good. And I was like, if Adriano went for ammo or had just gone towards Ridley and just got charged there, I thought I was gonna lose that one, to be honest, but I just stuck with going for majors and was just getting ammo just in case like I got plasma and not charged there. And it just ended up paying off, so I luckily got charged, was able to do Ridley and Mother Brain without too much issues.
Yeah. At race 2, I think I did a lot of mistakes because I wanted to try like very kind of soon to go to Brinstar, to Big Ping. That was, I think, a big mistake what I did. And that I did go for majors that were very long from the way, because I was like hoping I could find charge, but when I saw charge at Ridley, I was like, I knew it that this race like for me was too late. If Carter already had like got charged, I was assuming.
Right. And Carter, chat told me I had to ask you about the one major you didn't get in Bryn. So I assume you thought that room was right supers and you couldn't get the item?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, but I believe that room was actually the attic missile, so I think you could have gotten that item.
Oh no. So I would have
That
gotten
would that
plasma
was the
there, I
plasma beam,
guess.
obviously.
Yeah,
That's the last item left.
that would have been tragic if that had been charged.
Yeah. Obviously the plasma was still would have been nice, but you were still able to find charge and get everything to go.
Again, what I wanted to say is like GG's to Carter. I think he played them pretty well.
It was
And I
fun
can't
racing
wait,
with you.
like, to watch the way he played, just to
Yeah,
know, like, in general, what my mistakes were.
I definitely want to watch this one back because I want to see how you were handling the first seed very beginning because that was pretty tough.
Yeah. At first seed, I think I kept trying. I kept trying to go for lava dive, if I'm not mistaken, and I had like one reserve bootless because I knew it was possible with 2 tanks, and I did like, I don't know. And those majors I skipped, that was like too much. When I saw like spring ball was in logic to get the other majors that were there and grapple, because gravity like could unlock then everything in water rooms.
But yeah, I really enjoyed the races, and I wish you luck in your future matches.
Thank you. I wanted to thank, if I may, the commentators, SpeedGaming, Eddie for the tournament, and of course the Rando developers and our whole community. Like, I want to say you're all awesome.
Yeah, big shout outs to Eddie and the rest of the community
Yeah.
for
Sure.
all the work they've done setting up this tournament.
Yeah.
I think it's
And
going to
just
be a lot of fun. You are both still alive in this golden upper bracket. Obviously, Carter going on to play Oats. I don't know what Adriano's match will be, but yeah, how are you all feeling towards the your second matches of the tournament?
I'm scared.
I have no idea. I need to check again. Like with who will I be? I don't know, because will I be like in the lower bracket, right? Because this is like actually
It's a double
first
elimination,
one.
so you're in the loser bracket of gold bracket
Yeah,
still.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we've got the double elimination golden bracket, and then there's single elimination silver and bronze.
Okay.
I'll be honest, I don't know 100% how they all work, but
yeah, because it's like literally everything for me new to like to join such a tourney, so that's why.
I hope you have fun with the rest of the tournament. These things are really fun to do if you've
Thank
never
you.
done them before.
Yeah, they are fun for sure, but I don't know. I was feeling a bit anxious. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that good.
I think anxious is correct.
But yeah. I'm glad they are over.
I kind of want to reiterate what Adriano said and just thank everybody from the SM community and just the people that are hosting the tournament here, and Rando developers as well. Community's been really awesome, has helped out a lot with like learning this game, because I only started playing Rando I think like 2 or 3 months ago at this point. So it's been really fun like learning this, and developers and just a bunch of the runners have been extremely helpful in learning various tricks in the game. So thank you all for that. And as for my upcoming match, I was trying to say I'm pretty scared facing Oats because I'm a big Oats fan, and I know there's very little chance that I'm going to win this next upcoming race, but we're going to go into the hyperbolic time chamber, as they say, and try our best to prepare for this.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to that. Should be a fun match. But I think that is going to do it for us for this series. Do either of y'all have any final thoughts?
I think
Final
that's everything
comments?
I wanted to say. Thank you.
Yeah, for me too. Thank you.
All right. So, big shout outs to Aussie for doing all the setup for these two races. Shout outs to WXFan for being on comms for game 1. And of course, the entire Speed Gaming community for letting us do these restreams. They're a lot of fun. Hope they're a lot of fun to watch. I think they are, at least. But that is all for this one. We will see you next mission.